Are you struggling to be seen and heard online? Well, here's a secret. Trying to market to everybody, in essence, is marketing to nobody. And I see that all too often with new coaches or coaches who have been trying to get their message out, but they're struggling. Because here's how this works: your perfect fit clients are looking for somebody like you. So the more you refine your message to your niche, to know what they're dealing with, what goals they want to accomplish, then that's how this spot in their brain called the reticular activating system, they actually see you so you can help them. Well, in this video, I'm going to go beyond that to give you 5 tips to help you nail your niche so you can get that tuned in and you can boost your visibility and grow your business online. I'm Joyce Lehman, in case you don't know me, and I show coaches how to attract and connect with their ideal clients online using simple social systems so they can generate more leads and make a bigger impact without getting overwhelmed in the process. Now, today we're diving into your niche. And I've had people say, well, Joyce, why is it so important? As mentioned, if you're talking to everyone, you are talking to no one. And your niche, knowing who you're marketing to, that's the number one thing that you've got to figure out before you create offers, before you create a content strategy, before you start to put yourself out online, because otherwise your Instagram bio isn't going to be right. Your Facebook bio isn't going to be right. No email that you sent, it's not going to be targeted. So you're going to be speaking to the masses instead of that narrower market of your perfect fit clients. So with that out of the way, I'm going to jump in the steps to help you nail your niche. All right, number one, the very first thing you need to know is what makes you you. This is where, if you look at your story, it's like, why did you choose this path with your business? What made you, over the years, what experiences did you go through? What formal training did you go through? Are you your perfect fit client and you actually went through that transformation yourself? And this is how you can relate to people. So that's why, first off, and it is going to take a pen, a paper, sitting down with a Google Doc, whatever you might want to do. But why did you choose to become a coach? Why did you choose to, really narrow into, is it wellness? Is it mindset? Is it money? Is it business? What made you choose that path? The second thing to ask too is, what lights your fire? It's super important to know what drives you, because if you're trying to market to people, if you're trying to sell an offer that you don't even jive with yourself and it's kind of so-so, you're not going to hit the mark at all. In fact, I saw this all the time when I was first launching my keynote business back in 2008. Some of the new speakers, when they were asked to present, they would speak on 20 different topics. That's not nailing your niche. That's trying to be too broad. And so you don't, trying to just go research and come up with a passion to do what you do, it doesn't work that way. So that's why you want to figure out what your sweet spot is. It's what your experience and expertise combined with what inspires you, what lights your passion, what gets you going. All right, number 2, market research. I guarantee there's probably somebody already doing what you are doing in your business. So with that, you need to go out and do competitive research. How do you do that? Go online. Instagram is a great place. Pinterest is a great place. You can start with a Google search and put in keywords related to your niche. Now, just so you know, Pinterest has a different SEO platform. They're like their own SEO platform versus what Google is. So you're going to get different searches on that. Within Instagram, use keywords, hashtags. That way you can pull up. You want to find out, who's doing what you're doing. But just because somebody has, a similar offer doesn't mean that they're doing it the same way. You back up to number 1, it's what's your secret sauce? And your secret sauce, that area of expertise, that and what, those experiences that you've had over the years, that's what's going to make you unique. Now, the other thing, and this is super important, you are looking for the gaps. So even though somebody offers what you do, there might be a gap, and that's what really sets you apart. I see other coaches like myself, they offer great insights, great ways that you can build your foundation, you can start to grow your business, but very few are using AI in the process. And that's one of the things that I do. As an example, when you're trying to develop your ideal client avatar, which is actually number 3, I use a series of 50 questions with the help of AI to fine tune. So you've got all this tremendous information, which would be really hard for you to try to answer on your own. AI can do it easier with the help of the internet. Okay. So number 3 is you're going to create your ideal client avatar. With that, you want to think there's 2 different sides to this. So demographics are important, especially say you're geographically located and you tend to work with people who are only in your area. Well, that's where you want to make sure that when you're looking at demographics that you include that. If you work with people across the country, maybe you only work with women or you only work with men, you could work with youth, where that's where demographics come into play. It's the psychographics that you really need to dive into in helping you create your ideal client avatar. So that's where asking yourself a couple of questions. And by the way, if you want the show notes, because I know that I fly through this pretty fast, but if you want the show notes, then comment show notes and I will get those sent your way when we are done. Okay. And as we're going through, if for any reason you're hearing this and you're like, there is a nugget, then drop a comment with what that nugget is. And of course, I have some people that they don't want to get in the chat. And I totally understand. I appreciate it when you reach out privately to me via DM and you send me messages. Of course, you can do that because I want to get your questions answered. Okay. So back to demographics and psychographics. Now, I said that I have a process that I take my clients through in the incubator that's AI powered, but here are 3 questions that you can ask that can help you to get that avatar narrowed down. So the question number 1 is, when you're thinking about your ideal person, this goes back to if you were your ideal client, then you know the pain points that you were struggling with, you know the problem that you wanted to solve, you know that initial step. So you'll always think about, what are those pain points? What do they want to solve it? But more importantly, why do they want to solve it? So that's a huge question to ask. Number 2, so think about their aspirations. What does success look like? What does it look like when they've solved that problem? What is their end goal? So that's number 2. And then dig into number 3. This is important, their lifestyle. Where are they spending time online? Who do they associate with? What resources? What are those platforms that they might use or those places they might go? This goes back to, it depends on, like if you're a wellness coach, there may be a few resources online, but there may be more local in-person opportunities. Those are still resources and tools that they can use. So that goes back to problem they want to solve and why. Then think about their goals. What is that goal that they're looking to accomplish? And then 3, it's what kind of media do they want to consume? Where are they spending time when they're offline? It's like, what are their hobbies? What are their interests? And to go a little bit deeper with this, I have my freebie, and it is 10 places to find your perfect people online. It's questions you can ask that goes much deeper into that. And I'm going to be dropping a link in the comment underneath the video when we're done on the platform you're watching, so you can access that. All right. Tip number 4 is, this is where you want to validate your niche. So now you have an idea of who you think that perfect fit client is, that you need to figure out, is your messaging on track? And are these people the ones that are really going to resonate with what you do? The easiest way to do this is share content. Now, you can put up social posts, but somebody who is willing to like a post or comment on a post is different than somebody is going to opt into your freebie, your lead magnet. That way, you know that you're really diving in and you're speaking to them with that first problem an easy problem to solve. And that's that first step before you get to a paid offer. So sharing that is the easiest thing to do. The second thing is you can offer a free workshop. But to do that, you've got to have a following, you've got to have an email list. That requires a little bit more work. But both of those options are easier than creating an entire offer and marketing it, and then it falls flat because you haven't really done the work to validate your niche. Now, a third way, this is fairly easy and it can actually get some new leads in the process as long as you don't take a sales approach with this, but it's reach out to individuals to do interviews. And if you say, well, where the heck do I find those people? There are Facebook groups, there are different forums that you can go onto that you can actually dive in and start finding people and spark conversations and say, hey, I'm looking for some insight on this. You can post a question, you can post a poll. Of course, every group and forum has its own rules that you need to follow. But actually having conversations, not selling anything, that's a great way to get that one-on-one feedback. All right, and that goes back to you want to validate before you go all in on spending a ton of time creating an offer, or else it could miss the mark. Now, number 5, this is where you're going to deep dive and commit. So extremely important. It is amazing to me how many people I've talked to that said, oh yeah, I went out to Instagram and I spent a couple of weeks marketing my business and I got nothing. Seriously, it is going to take you approximately 90 days of marketing yourself, your business consistently with the right message before you're going to start to see traction, unless you want to spend money on paid ads, which if you don't know exactly who your niche is and you don't have a big marketing budget, then I wouldn't do that. But it's going to take time. You've got to be consistent and spend time. So don't think a week marketing something is going to cut it. It's going to take 90 days if you're only relying on social media or building your email list before you can really start to see some traction. It's so important when you're speaking to your audience. The other thing is make sure you're engaging with your community. As I said, you could have a private Facebook group. It's easier to go join Facebook groups, see what works, see what doesn't. As I said, put yourself out there on Instagram, could be Pinterest, maybe it's YouTube. You don't have to be everywhere all the time. And maybe you market your business at local events. That's fantastic. But pick a lane, deep dive, and commit to that. And then here's an extra tip. It's number 6, is you've got to keep adapting. So don't think you're just going to set it and forget it. All too often, I see people create offers, and depending on what it is, they don't go back to see what's going on right now, what's new in the world, what needs to be refreshed and updated to stick with current trends. Now, if you're strictly focusing on social media, you know that changes like every week. You can see that things are happening. If you're a mindset coach, if you're a life coach, there are things that are happening in the world. They're going to impact what's going on with your clients. And so that's why you don't want to set it and forget it. You want to keep refreshing to see what's going on. But this is also where you need to be open to refining your offers and refining your message. Maybe give your website a refresh if it's been several years since you've done anything and you're still not getting the traction you want. Then that's where you got to dial back and go, am I marketing to the right people? Is my message clear to them? So if we don't know you from Adam, we don't know you from anybody, that we know you're speaking to us if you're the perfect fit coach to help us solve our problem. So with that, that is how you discover your gold mine and find the perfect niche for your coaching business. As always, stay tuned. Next week, I go live on a weekly basis. So feel free to like and subscribe if you want to get the latest updates on information. Of course, you can comment if you want to get the show notes, and I will be happy to send those your way. And then, as I mentioned, I've got my 10 questions to help you find your perfect people online. So drop niche and I will send you the checklist. Until then,